Dog food and heart disease? Here's what you need to know for 2023. The FDA, they recently released an update on a type of heart disease in dogs, DCM or dilated cardiomyopathy, and dog food. So first, let's just talk about the numbers. As of July 2020, 1,100 dogs have been reported to the FDA as developing DCM related to diet. In the last 2.5 years, so since July 2020 until the end of 2022, there's been another 282 dogs reported. Compared to the 80 or so million dogs in the United States, it's not very many. The initial report of the FDA in 2018, it specifically named a number of grain-free dog foods as the ones most likely causing DCM. In their most recent update, they're choosing not to name any specific brands. So here is what I think you most need to know. In dilated cardiomyopathy, the heart gets very thin and dilated, hence the name DCM. The heart can no longer contract properly, your dog goes into heart failure. In veterinary practice, it was a bad disease to see. I mean, these dogs had a really poor prognosis. Our treatment options were very limited. DCM typically was a disease never associated with diet. It was associated with genetics. We see it in Dobermans, Great Danes, Wolfhounds, Boxers. Then it started showing up in Golden Retrievers in a breed we'd never seen it before in. Then it was shown that there was a clear link with diet, and many of those dogs, when they're supplemented with an amino acid called taurine, they actually recovered. So is this a thing you need to be concerned about? Researchers at Tufts, other universities, they have come to the conclusion that yes, there is diet-associated DCM. It's not just grain-free, it could be in a grain-based diet, or it could be in a grain-free diet. There are 3 ingredients that have been most implicated. The pulses, number 1 on the list is these, peas. Number 2, lentils. Number 3, the favorite food of lemurs, chickpeas. The University of Missouri, they did a retrospective study. They were looking at the rise of grain-free dog food, correlating that with DCM, and guess what? They found no correlation. But Tufts, they've done their own research, and they are drawing a correlation between certain ingredients in dog food, in particular the pulses, and the biggest one on the list is peas, and DCM. And then what's happening? Like, how are some dogs getting DCM associated with diet? It's possible when these diets are high in peas, pea protein. Peas contain phytates. Our carnivores, our dogs, they lack the enzyme to break phytates down. They don't have phytase. When that happens, these phytates can bind for certain minerals. So for instance, it's possible some of that taurine is not getting absorbed. And guess what? Your dog doesn't have enough taurine. He develops DCM. But most dogs that eat peas, they eat pea protein, they're completely fine. Much of the kibble that I fed Tula, I fed my previous dogs, Lewis, it included peas. So knowing all that, if you're making a homemade food at home, you want to add a veggie, you add some peas, that's okay. But if this is the sole part of your dog's diet and that's what you make all the time, look for another veggie to add in, i.e. a carrot, maybe some spinach. So after going through all the research, I've come to the conclusion that yes, there is a link between diet and DCM. But the chance of your dog ever developing DCM related diet, it's pretty darn small. We had about 100 cases of DCM last year. We had 76 million dogs in the United States, and that gives us a percent of this amount. The chance of your dog getting it is 0.001315%. It's pretty darn low. If your dog is doing great on a certain diet, I don't think you need to rush out and change it. But if it's kibble, I vary that kibble, and I do this with Tula every 3 or 4 months. He's eating a different type of food. And when you look at the ingredients, I suggest just have less pulses, less peas, less lentils, less chickpeas. My general feeling is like the peas, the lentils, the chickpeas, they're not really providing a whole lot of value to your dog's diet and nutrition. And if there's potential link for the disease, like why not just do without them? Number 2, just feed less kibble, period. Incorporate more canned. Make some of your dog's food at home. Once a week, Tula gets a stew. I'll link to some of those recipes in the description box. Consider feeding raw. Yes, DCM in diet, it's still a thing in dogs. There's a bunch of ongoing studies. Some of them, they're conflicting. These guys, they seem to be most implicated, but the chance of your dog ever getting DCM associated with diet is a fraction of a percent. And if there are any further updates, I'm gonna let you know. Thanks so much for watching this edition of Veterinary Secrets of DCM and Dog Food, the 2023 update. Click up there to subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications, and when you click that link directly in the box below, I can send you a copy of my free book.